Hi, I'm Dr. Kim Logan-Nowlin.
And I'm Arthur Nowlin.
And welcome to Making It Work. How you doing, Arthur?
I'm doing great, Kim. How about you?
I am good. I'm excited about our topic today.
Okay.
One more drink. Remember we were dating, or shortly after we were married, I'm sorry, that we were talking about substance abuse. And I said, I've never been around substance abuser. I don't even know what that is. What is substance abuse? And you turned to me and said, Kim, your father is an alcoholic. That's substance abuse. I was just outdone because I'm thinking, you know, heroin, cocaine, marijuana, you know, addictions like that. Never thought as a little girl growing up that seeing my father drink, that was substance abuse. Let's talk about it.
Well, I guess a lot of times people don't have a clear understanding of what's substance abuse. And right now we're dealing with so many different things in regards to really recognizing the problem. And I think that's probably the most essential thing that you have to understand, is that if you're doing a behavior and it's causing a problem in your life, and see, we have to understand the problem.
Okay.
The problem could be a health problem. It could be a problem in your attitude and disposition.
Wow.
You know, it could cause you problems in the workplace. So when we see all these problems occurring, then we understand that something that you are doing is causing you to really get into some issues that can prevent you from having success in life.
It can definitely destroy your household. I know it definitely caused my parents to divorce because my father did drink, and I thank God for the mother who raised us not to use those type of it's just devastating. Substance abuse, I never realized how devastating it is to the family. Well, in the interview today, we will be talking with Christopher and Cassandra, One More Drink, and how they both indulge in alcoholism and how they are trying now to allow the Holy Spirit to get them free from this. Let's go to Cassandra and Christopher, One More Drink. Christopher and Cassandra McKay, I want to thank you for selecting Kim Logan Communication as your counseling clinic and providing services. Why did you make the call to come to counseling?
Actually, I made the call to come to counseling with you because I've heard that you have such a wonderful reputation with Christian-based marriages, and your Christian-based atmosphere is really what I appreciated. And the fact that I had met you a few years ago, I thought you were wonderful, and I thought you could help me in my personal endeavors. And then once I got married, I thought that you would be a good asset to me and my husband.
Okay, tell us what's been going on, you know, since we started the therapeutic process about 8 months ago. Tell us what's been going on in the relationship. There's been some new events that we have to address. What's been going on?
Well, one of the newer things that we really need to address today is our alcoholism, as I'm going to call it. I'm just going to be honest. My husband and I, we drink. Sometimes we drink together. Sometimes we drink separately. Even on my job, I may have a drink after work or maybe on my lunch hour. But sometimes I feel as though I'm stressed, and it can be a number of things.
I see. Christopher, what about you? How would you define the marriage and define your life right now?
Well, my as far as my drinking is concerned, it's been kind of went over. I indulge a little too much. I do a little too much partying.
Okay.
You know, and it's kind of then ran into my marriage, and it's kind of knocking it off balance.
When you first started counseling, there was no drinking when I first met you, and then what has happened to trigger the change in the behavior?
Well, I guess the struggles that I go through in life, you know, I've been through a lot of things in my life that I wasn't willing to really admit up to. I couldn't really face a lot of my demons from the back. So by me not being able to face it, I keep running back into it. You know, so That was another reason that we were able to, me and my wife was able to get together and to come to you to maybe find a better solution.
Your wife called me, I'm sorry. Your wife called me. You were supposed to pick her up from work. She came home. You were intoxicated, passed out on the floor.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
I don't really know what to say because it was just another one of them events that I was going through. Sometimes I sit home and I guess I just once again go back in my thoughts or some of the things I did and I also look at this. This is really based on what I look at. I have a criminal past, and in my past, you know, I didn't sold drugs. I didn't did drugs. I didn't got caught up for this. I didn't rob banks, and you know, and and I had to go do some time. And I did a lot of years in my life. Since I was 12 years old, I've been doing time. So this is basically all I really knew in my life. So now I done got with this woman here, my wife, and she helping me stay on this path here. And you know, this is the longest I ever been home, period, in my life. This is as long as I've been home.
How long have you been home?
I've been home 3 years now, what, a little over 3 years? 3 years now. But I mean, I wasn't home, never home 3 months. I was gone. I'm out of there. You know, I just did 22 years of my life in penitentiary. You know, so, and then I come home and I'm trying to get a job and stuff, and then I hear, oh no, we can't give you a job because of your criminal past, you know, based upon what I have did in the past. So now I'm sitting here, I'm trying to get a job, I'm trying to do this. You know, as you know, I was cooking down there, and then they stopped me for a ticket for what, 20 years ago. You know, we talking about a 20-something year old ticket. I ended up losing my job.
Yes.
You know, and you know this. We came to talk to you about this.
Yes.
So, come on. Then I go back. So I sit home. And I get me a drink because I get depressed sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't mean to put it on my marriage, but it just roll off into it. So, like I said, sometimes in that idle time really brings a lot of things back on me.
You
know,
said that your wife has been like some stability for you.
Yeah, she is.
You know, and you've also acknowledged the fact that being home has been difficult. So, have you tried any other alternatives outside of drinking? You know, to eliminate some of the feelings of feeling.
You have to go a little deeper when you say try something else. What do you mean?
You know, like, have you become involved in church? Have you made a decision to get involved into community organizations? Have you attempted to get involved into the organization where, for returning citizens, they can assist you in finding employment? Have you thought about any type of training programs?
Yes, I have tried all of these.
Okay.
All the above I have tried. What do you call that? Michigan Works.
Okay,
I went there. They sent me someplace else. I went there. That's how I ended up getting the job before.
Yes.
You know, going through their training. You know, I tried to get in college, and they went to talking about something that I didn't sign for when I was a child. You know,
A military.
Yeah,
into the
the
military.
draft.
okay, I don't know nothing about this. Remember, I said I've been locked up since I was 12 years old. Man, so why would I know something about this? So now we talking about, I'm grown now. You talking about something when I was a child, so you're gonna stop me from furthering my education based upon something that I was a child. You know, so.
Let me ask. I hear what you're saying about employment, and you know that's essential for everybody. Yeah. But let me ask you now, what's the most important thing that you need to change about your life?
Well, I need to change the way my thinking.
Okay.
Right now, you know, like I said, the way I think now, I've been trying to hold myself down. I do a lot of little odd jobs and stuff right now.
Okay.
You know, just to stay above water. You know, try to help my wife out here or there. You know, but right now it's like I get turned down so much on trying to do something. I get kind of stuck. Even my wife even said, she be like, you know, it's like you just give up after. It's said like I come to you and I'm trying to get a job and I can't get it here. It's like I just like forget it. These people's not trying to hire me. You know, one person told me, he say, man, he told me flat out, he say, the reason they not hiring you is because of your crime. He said, you could have killed somebody and it'd have been better than what you did. You know, and I had to just accept it. I mean,
well, let me ask another question. You know, one of the things that you indicated was that you came to therapy because you wanted Christian therapy. So how's that helped you in your relationship in regards to dealing with the aspect that your husband is having such a difficult time?
It helps me greatly because there are times where I can forget that I am a Christian woman. And it helps me because Dr. Kim will bring me back to a level where it helps me to remember that we were put on this earth to help others. And I appreciate you for that, I do. And it does help because she brings me to, sometimes she'll take me to Bible verses. She will take me to the Word and show me where I'm failing as a wife or as a Christian woman. And then she'll bring me back to the way I'm supposed to be.
So, we're understanding that, you know, what do you think you need to do to improve your life at this point? Okay, we're understanding that you're trying to connect with your Christian walk. So, but there's something else that needs to be done for you to improve that walk.
For me, I need to remain focused.
Okay.
And I lack that. I've acknowledged that I lack that 100%. There comes a time where I don't want to hear the word because of what he may be going through or because of what I may be going through. And that's basically, I just need to remain focused.
What are some of the goals that you have for your life together, Cassandra? We've been talking about our treatment plan and looking at our vision board. We have 6 aspects on this vision board. God, I know, is first. You have a blended family. You have a young child within the home. But my concern is, one, I see that you're no longer drinking, and then you come into therapy and you say, Dr. Kim, and I always ask you, have we had a relapse? Yes, I'm drinking again. And what is the trigger? Because I refuse to believe it is a source, but you have to hold yourself accountable, and you can't blame Christopher for your decision making or your choices. So I need to know, why are you back drinking again? And we worked so hard to stop drinking.
Frustrated. I get very frustrated because of finances. I get frustrated because it could be something happening on my job. Mainly finances, because with me primarily being the sole support, it does get frustrating.
So this week we're working on, again, staying focused.
Yes.
Did you have a drink today?
Did I have a drink this morning?
I didn't stutter. Did you have a drink today?
And I'm not gonna stutter. Yes, I did.
Christopher, did you drink today?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Why?
Because I didn't know what type of questions I was going to be asked coming on the show. I was scared.
Why were you scared? And we walked through it. We talked about it. We've been talking about it, but we also deal with how to approach matters in a positive and a spiritual and godly manner. There's my phone is always available to you. You know that, but I think it's another excuse.
No, I was really just the anxiety of coming and saying, "Wow, I'm about to go on TV and discuss my life." And I said, okay, I need a drink before I do this.
Did you pray before you came? So I'll take a drink, but I won't pray. Tell me, how does that make sense? And especially what we've been working on.
Yes. In a Christian household, it doesn't make sense. That it doesn't. But like I said, I did it, and I'm accountable for what I did.
I think one of the things that has to be taken into account also is behavior. When you're used to doing something for a period of time, you know, that behavior is like ingrained in us. And it's easier for us to fall back on negative behavior. And we're talking about, it was easier for you to take a drink, to put yourself in a state of being where you felt that you'll be more relaxed and you'll be able to handle the situation of being up front. You know, that's understandable. But my concern is, if this is something that you guys want to do, and as far as changing the way you deal with situations, even though you're dealing with a difficult situation, being unemployed is something significant. And it could be heartbreaking. Well, one thing I want to do is I want to acknowledge that I admire the fact that you're still trying. You're still doing something. You're out there, and you're not just laying down. There may be occasions when you drink too much and it causes you to be in a stupor. You know, that's unacceptable behavior. And I'm saying that to you because you're better than that. In spite of what you may have experienced, in spite of the difficulties that you faced, you still can be an overcomer. But one of the things that stands out for me is the fact, in being an overcomer, that means that you have to change the way you think, and you have to put the work. The work is really important. Put the work in to make your life better. That's not an easy process, but it's a process that can happen if you become determined. Your spirituality is really significant. See, if you put that to the forefront, then that would also help you deal with the drinking. And some people may have difficulty in doing that because, once again, the past behavior is, when I reach a stressful situation, then I need something to help me deal with that stress. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I'm in agreement with you. Absolutely.
Okay.
How can Arthur and I, in this therapeutic process, help you to make it work? Because we're here to help you make it work, and if you continue on the same path, it's not going to work.
It's going to be destructive.
Absolutely, I can agree with you there as well. So to answer your question, I think it's best that we continue in marital counseling with actually the both of you. As far as you and I one-on-one, I still think we need to continue our sessions together, because you do help me. There are times where my drinking does become, what's the word I'm looking for? It becomes overwhelming, even to me. However, I do control my drinking, and when I feel I've drank a little bit too much, I put it down.
But we want to get to the point where there's no alcoholism in the household, even not even having Janae there, but your own lives. You know, do you love each other?
Yes, I do.
Absolutely.
We love each other. We love each other.
See, let me interject and say this. See, my thing is this: I need more of a spiritual awakening. You know, we can go on, and without the spirituality in my life, without God in my life, you know, on the front, nothing's really gonna work for me. So And then I can go here, I can go to this church, or go to that church, or go to this church. But if I'm not feeling them, it's not really doing nothing for me. You know, so if it's like when we sit here and we talk and we be sincere when you and I we be talking, okay, I feel you better, you know, than me going somewhere else, and I be like, what's your agenda? You know, it's like they're not really.
Well, maybe what we can recommend one-on-one with you and Arthur, and then also a spiritual component where I can help you, like a Bible study.
Right.
You know, a therapeutic Bible study to give you scriptures that's going to empower you, Christopher, that's going to enhance your life and what God has called you. We have been put here for a purpose, and you all have a purpose in this life, a great purpose, and God wants to extend that purpose throughout mankind. But we can be our own worst enemies. But we're not going to look at that. We're going to look at how we're measuring ourselves right now. So on a scale, wait a minute, 0 to 10, where are we therapeutically right now? Where are we? So we'll know where we're starting. Where are we? We have a minute left. Where are we?
For you and I feel on our one-on-one sessions we are at an 8, and as far as our group therapy or marital status therapy, we're at ground 0.
All right.
And we need to move forward.
I just think it's really important from what you said, you know, in connecting with your spirituality. It's really important that the work, remember, this is the true emphasis of you changing the behavior. It's going to take a lot of work, and you have to make your mind up that in spite of what you may face, I'm not going to revert back to the old behavior. And that's calling, constantly checking in and doing what's required to save your lives. That's what it boils down to, and your family's life.
Right.
You know.
Well, listen, we want to thank you both for being with us on Making It Work, and we're going to be here for you. We will see you this week for your counseling session.
Yeah.
God bless you both.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Chris.
Definitely.
Thank you, Dr. Kim.
You're welcome. Arthur, Christopher, and Cassandra really shared a lot of information with us and our audience. Solutions. What do we need to look at to try to help our families and couples dealing with substance abuse?
Well, we have to understand the origin of the problem. You know, I mean, when we think about the substance abuse issue, what's causing them and what's going on to really make them focus on that the only way that they can find relief is to do a certain thing, to smoke cigarettes, to drink alcohol, to use drugs, then we need to really understand what's the motivation for them to change, to do that behavior instead of dealing with issues from a different perspective.
What are the gateway drugs? What are gateway drugs?
Well, gateway drugs is drugs that would lead you into doing harder drugs such as heroin and cocaine. But you know, right now there's a dispute about cigarettes being a gateway drug or marijuana being a gateway drug, because there's some concerns right now with the way that the popularity of using marijuana has continued to grow. We're talking about some people saying that it's used for medicinal purposes, and so that is not really a gateway drug.
When you say medicinal purposes, you're talking about medical use?
Medical use, that's really the big thing. Medical marijuana is really something that it's causing a lot of concern, but it's also being accepted by a lot of states who have moved towards accepting medical marijuana.
Legalizing it.
Yes, accepting it as something that's viable for their communities.
So how do we get around this, you know, when we have our families who are truly seeking God's will, but yet at the same time, they have these urges to drink. They have a desire to drink or use different aspects that will lead to the destruction of their family, as we saw what was going on with Christopher and Cassandra.
Yeah, well, once again, we have to understand the origin of the problem. In a lot of cases, we're talking about peer pressure. You know, I mean, we're talking about people that may be in middle school that start drinking because they are surrounded by people that drink, or in their household, or they their relationships with their peers. They could be challenged. You know, you haven't done this.
Right.
You know, have you ever participated in drinking beer or wine? You know, can go from one aspect up to another level, where, you know, before you know it, that person may be drinking on a consistent basis.
I thank the Lord that the Lord delivered my father, you know, before he passed away, of alcoholism. But I saw how it impacted his life.
The damage.
The damage it did to him physically and emotionally.
That was done, you know, poor decision making. You know, we're talking about in your particular family unit that the alcohol had been was devastating, that it caused divorce.
It caused divorce.
It caused a poor relationship between your mother and your father. She just got to a point where she couldn't accept that behavior anymore. It caused your father to make poor decisions.
So with Cassandra, she's at a point, you know, where I want to stop. You know, that's why she sought out our counseling. And Christopher, he's trying, but he'll go 2 or 3 days and then he relapse. What causes the relapse?
Well, let's look at Christopher from a different perspective. We're talking about Christopher indicating on the show that he was an alcoholic because of his association with his criminal background, and not feeling that the support that he was getting was going to be something that he can overcome, so he continued to drink.
I see. So again, having the ability to trust in the Lord, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not to thy own understanding, and in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. What should Cassandra do now? What is her role now?
Well, because Cassandra is also drinking, she needs to stop drinking. She needs to make a decision, you know, and then she needs to insist that that Christopher also make a decision to stop drinking.
Well, it is our desire for all of us to live holy and good lives for Christ. Work hard. I'm Dr. Kim Logan-Nowlin.
I'm Arthur Nolan.
God bless.